Take Back Your Health Now, Episode 81.
You're listening to the Take Back Your Health Now podcast, the show that interviews the top doctors, athletes, trainers, and entrepreneurs to help you find the holy grail of health. Now here's your host, Dr. Dan Margolin.
This is Dr. Dan Margolin with another segment of Take Back Your Health Now, where we pull out all the stops in search of health's holy grail. This is probably one of the most exciting interviews I'm going to do. It's with Dr. Joel Wallach. He is the 2011 recipient of the Klaus Schwarz Award, recognizing the work of pioneers in the field of trace element research. Dr. Joel Wallach is a biomedical research pioneer. He has spent decades in the field of veterinary medicine, observing and researching the effects of individual nutrients on animal health before becoming a naturopathic physician in 1982. Today, Dr. Wallach is renowned for his groundbreaking research on the health benefits of selenium and other minerals. He now dedicates his time to lecturing throughout the world on the therapeutic benefits of vitamins and minerals, and on advising the U.S. Food and Drug Administration on behalf of the dietary supplement industry. Dr. Joel Wallach, welcome to the show, sir.
Well, thank you very kindly for your hospitality, and I look forward to the interview.
Yeah, I'm so excited. You know, I got to tell you, many years ago in the 1990s, I read your book, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. At the time, I was dating a young lady, and her father was a rheumatologist. And I actually gave him a copy of the book just to get his feedback. And honestly, he lost it. I ended up having to throw the book out because he went crazy on it. And I didn't really pick it back up till about 2007 when I heard you on the radio interview. But could you just go over a little bit of your background and why you wrote that book, what was in it, that type of information?
Sure. Okay, well, basically, as you partially pointed out, I have a degree in agriculture. I have a degree in veterinary medicine. I have a postdoctoral fellowship, which is the equivalent of a PhD degree in comparative pathology. And my thesis was based on 20,000 autopsies, 17,000 some change, over 454 species of animals, and 3,000 humans. And this is back in the 60s and early 70s. And it turned out to be, my thesis was 1,200 pages. And it's actually in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure.
Wow.
It is a book that was published and has led to many things. The biggest observation that came out of that study of 464 species of animals and humans was that every vertebrate, whether you're a flamingo or a fish or a turtle or a human being or a hummingbird or an elephant or a pig or a dog, it doesn't matter. All vertebrates, when you're deficient in a certain nutrient, you're all going to get the same disease. So I'm finding in that study, the reason why it's in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure, I'm finding alligators and crocodiles with type 2 diabetes. I'm finding hummingbirds and deer with sickle cell anemia. I'm finding every birth defect in human that's supposed to be genetically transmitted, including Down syndrome and cerebral palsy and cleft palate and spina bifida. Very simple to prevent, very simple to reverse in some cases like muscular dystrophy and cystic fibrosis. I'm finding these in every species of animals you can name. And so I knew that there was a basic common thread, which were these nutritional deficiencies, because we've eliminated these diseases in animals, domestic animals. Well, now I had to go through and eliminate them in zoo animals because they were being fed and getting these problems. To make a long story short, after I finished that project, which was 10 years long, went to many other facilities for government programs, including I had one gig, if you will, or one thing at the found in a non-human. So I sent it unlabeled to experts in pathology all over the world, about a dozen of them.
Dr. Wallach, Dr. Wallach, I lost that last sentence. It just cut out. What was it that you sent?
I sent slides, unlabeled slides of tissues saying, I believe this is cystic fibrosis. What do you think? And they said, oh, yeah, this is a classical example of cystic fibrosis. And this is in, they sent the confirmation that it was cystic fibrosis on their letterhead. Okay, couldn't get any better than that. These are pathology experts all over the world,
right.
Europe and so forth. And I did my due diligence and research, which I already done in 20,000 autopsies prior to that, and found out that it was a a simple nutritional deficiency during pregnancy. It could be reversed even after the baby is born, including genetic markers, which occurred in 17 other diseases that had nothing remotely to do with cystic fibrosis.
Wow.
And so I could get rid of the genetic marker in 24 hours if I gave that nutrient intravenously. I could get rid of it in 2 weeks if I gave it orally. And then as far as the main problems in the lungs and the pancreas and liver are very easily reversed with nutritional supplementation. And I put it all together for publication. I was very excited about it. I thought, this is going to be a Nobel Prize. I was very excited about it. And they fired me, to make a long story short. Emory University, New York Medical Center fired me because they said, you must be sniffing glue. Well, like everybody knows it's genetic. You can't say it's not genetic. I said, well, treat me like a PhD student. I already have a book in the Smithsonian Institute. Treat me like a PhD student and challenge my data. And if I can't satisfy the geneticists and the CF experts, then go ahead and fire me. I won't fight you. Now we'd be laughed out of the university. So Emory University, New York's Primate Center fired me in 1978, a year after I made the discovery. And a year after they had sent out news releases in every publication. I mean, we're talking about, the New York Times, and I was on 2020.
Oh my God. I mean, is this, and this might be off, is this the same thing? I heard that, and maybe this was a rumor or true, you approached Jerry Lewis at one point regarding the muscular dystrophy. Was that true?
Well, in 2010, after 1,700 autopsies on people who had died of this deficiency, and 100% of them had muscular dystrophy, and it was published in 3 languages. And I sent the data to Jerry Lewis because we worked for several years on treating kids that had muscular dystrophy and were able to reverse it. So we gave Jerry Lewis about 100. Yeah, we gave Jerry Lewis about 100 cases, and their doctors who had diagnosed him with muscular dystrophy had also said, we don't know why, but it's gone now. Okay. And so we sent him all this data, and he took it to the Muscular Dystrophy Foundation in 2010, which is his last telethon, and they fired him, and they shut down the telethon in 2011 because they wanted to look for muscular dystrophy cures, but they didn't want to cure muscular dystrophy.
Oh my God. What?
I'm assuming you're getting the picture there.
Let me tell you, you know what? I've been, even these podcast radio shows I've been doing for a while, and the picture you get almost every area is so much too much to imagine. It's why would people do this? I mean, obviously.
Well, that's why I wrote the book, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, and the CD, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, because it's the only time they won't. And if they were correct that all these diseases are genetic and autoimmune and their drugs were wonderful, they should be living longer than anybody else if they're taking their own medicine, right?
Yeah.
And I did a study on 200 obituaries at the Texas Medical Center in Houston, in their library, in the medical library, and I found 200 obituaries randomly, and the Journal of the American Medical Association added up the ages, divided by 200, and got 58. That can't be right. So I did it again with another 200 different ones. I got 57.9. Okay, 58.
Wow.
So to make a long story short, I came up with the title, Only Dead Doctors Don't Lie, because when they're alive, they're lying.
Wow.
And so that's really a shame. It's terrible. They have failed us. We rank 43rd right now in the world in longevity. Our children are slated to be the first generation of Americans who do not live as long as their parents. Doctors, according to Johns Hopkins, which came out just a couple of months ago, Johns Hopkins, very famous medical school, they came out and said the number 3 cause of death in America is medical mistakes in hospitals. They said each year in America, medical doctors kill, that's the word they use, each year in America, medical doctors kill 251,000 Americans in hospitals just from simple mistakes. Nobody gets, put in jail. Everybody gets a walk. They don't even get an OSHA ticket. What would happen if Iran or Iraq or North Korea were to send over an intercontinental ballistic missile with a horrible weapon and kill 251,000 Americans? It'd be a war.
Yeah.
Well, here's one trade that does it every year in their workplace. Don't even get an OSHA ticket.
Yeah.
So that's why only dead doctors don't lie.
Well, ironically, my ex-girlfriend's father, who was a doctor, died at 58. He died right around that time as well, right after.
Yeah,
I do understand. Well, let's jump a little bit into just some of your other books. So you wrote Hell's Kitchen, which I read that, and I almost fell over. You're talking in there about the fact that, many years ago we would cook with wooden stoves, and we would take the ash and we would put that ash on our gardens and things like that. And once the more electricity came, we stopped doing that. And how did that affect our health? How did that affect our the vegetables?
Okay, yeah. Well, this is my basic premise for having our basic program, that we need to have 90 essential nutrients supplemented, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 3 fatty acids. You cannot get everything from your food. And we've done this with animals, eliminated 900 different diseases that still plague humans, and eliminated every birth defect you can name, simply by supplementing them. And they're little alfalfa pellets. Little alfalfa pellets aren't alfalfa. The alfalfa is just a carrier to get the animal to eat the supplements.
Right.
Okay. And so what I learned was, and again, this is from my degree in agriculture, I was just really fortunate. William Albrecht, who is the father of organic farming in America, who is a professor of soils at the University of Missouri, where I got my degree in agriculture, was my professor. And I spent a lot of time with him because I was just really enjoying the things he was saying. And he knew our soils were depleted, but he didn't know why. Okay, well, I figured it out, being kind of a little bit of an outside observer. And it goes back thousands and thousands and thousands of years when wood was a universal fuel. And people all over the world, even isolated ones out in the Pacific Islands where people were isolated, never had ships coming and going or anything like that thousands of years ago.
Right.
And these peoples would use wood for fuel. And they would take the ashes, which are not ashes. The ashes are really minerals that the tree had soaked up out of the ground. And these minerals, when they put the wood ashes into the gardens, the plants would suck up these minerals, but they don't occur in a uniform blanket around the crust of the earth. They occur in veins like chocolate and chocolate ice cream. So some places have 6, some places have 18, some have 25. And that's why you have different sort of pictures of where diseases occur. It depends on what minerals are in the soil there and which ones aren't.
Wow.
Well, when they would throw the wood ashes into the gardens, the plants would suck up these minerals. Now, the plants only need 3 elements from the soil. All vertebrates, including humans, require 60. So you're 57 short if the plant is happy. The plant is happy, you're 57 short, because the plant only needs NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. We need 60. And so we learned that in the animal industry, and doctors forget all that, and they just want to use drugs. Well, it turns out that this went on for thousands and thousands of years until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, September 4th, 1882, on Pearl Street in New York City, in the bluff overlooking the construction of Brooklyn Bridge. Thomas Edison pulled the switch on the first commercial electric generating plant. And within 10 years, every town, every municipality, and every city in the industrialized world, by that 10 years after that event, had converted to electricity for fuel instead of wood. And nobody knew they were getting the nutritional minerals from the wood ashes. So nobody replaced their original source of nutritional minerals that they've been using for thousands and thousands of years. And that began our downward death spiral in human health right after electricity became our universal fuel. Because even yet today, doctors say, oh, just eat well, you get everything you need. And that's our problem. You cannot, because plants only need 3 and we need 60. That's where the breakdown point is.
Now, do any of the farmers or anybody, does anybody ever think of this? Anybody ever supplement this? Anybody, is this?
Me.
You, yeah. Okay. That's great. Understood.
I'm the one. That's why my book is in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure, because that's what I was saying. Okay, because I already had my degree in veterinary medicine. I had my degree in agriculture, and I was 3/4 of the way through my degree as a postdoctoral fellow in comparative pathology. I was finishing that up at Washington University. I was doing all those autopsies, and Washington University in St. Louis. And this was a huge, huge project, and it just helped confirm, because I'm finding, again, every birth defect you can name in every animal species you can think of, every vertebrate. I'm finding every disease said to be genetic and autoimmune in humans, and all these other very disparate species of animals, but they're all vertebrates. So there's a common thread. And as I began to supplement it, their diseases would go away.
So you,
so that's how I learned all this.
You were part of Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom, right? Or were you?
Yes. Well,
I remember
St.
watching
Louis, of course. Actually, Marlin Perkins is the one that actually got the grant that I did my postdoctoral fellowship on. And I had given him my first paper I had written in 1961 when I was a graduate student at the University of Missouri in pathology. And I ran into the first mass die-off from pollution in America and tracked it down, went to the site and got it all figured out, got it published, all the chemistries, got it published, knew exactly what happened, why 500 died in one night, and everything was just crazy. And I gave Perkins a copy. Well, I'm in Africa working on the White Rhino Conservation Project for 2 years. He sends me a letter say, okay, Wallach, I need you back here. I need you to be a pathologist in this project. We just got a grant at Washington University and the St. Louis Zoo and the Shaw's Botanical Gardens to study pollution as the cause of death from natural causes. And since you're the guy to write the first paper in a mass die-off in America for pollution, you're the obvious guy to be a pathologist on the project. I thought, well, I'm having the time of my life here in Africa, but I could go back to Africa later. I'll come back and I'll do this project. And that's how I got in on the project. With Perkins. But I had worked for him as a kid in grade school, junior high, and high school because I was a farm kid, and they couldn't get city kids to do what he needed to get done in the zoos. And I wasn't afraid of big animals and things, so he hired me as a kid all through my grammar school and junior high and high school and first couple of years of the university to work on projects for him in the zoos. And that's how I got to know Perkins and Mutual Omaha and so forth. And he sent me to Africa to work on this white rhino conservation project and the African elephant conservation project. So he knew exactly where I was when he got that grant. And so I owe Marlin Perkins an awful lot. He's the one who actually put me in a position to learn all this stuff and be able to come up with something that helps humanity. And I've spoken to the United Nations twice. I'm going to speak again several times this year. And, you know, in the UN building in New York City, it's quite an honor because they see the value of what I'm saying. Because, and I asked his ambassador from one of the African countries, which I'm not allowed to say, but I asked him, I said, sir, why are you so interested in what I do? He said, well, we've given the medical doctors 100 years and we're a mess.
Wow.
And,
Wow.
And he says, you found the cause of sickle cell anemia, which is a big problem in Africa, and you say you can prevent it. Yeah, I can't cure it. I can manage it better with nutrition than they can with drugs, but I can prevent it 100% with supplementation prior to conception.
What are the supplements that you would give prior to?
Well, here's the deal. Prior to conception, if you want to eliminate all birth defects and you want the mother to be healthy as well as the baby, they need 90 essential nutrients. These are the basic nutrients that all vertebrates require: 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 omega-3 fatty acids, and again, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 omega-3 fatty acids. And this became our basic program that everybody needs prior to getting ill. So we do this in animals because we don't have health insurance for animals. So we give them the 90 essential nutrients as kind of their insurance policy. Okay. Gotcha. And so we prevent diseases. And I've been doing this myself twice a day for 75 years. And I haven't been to a doctor in 75 years. I haven't had a cold in 75 years. I have never been on a prescription drug in my life. I've never had any surgery because I've been taking the 90 essential nutrients twice a day for 75 years.
Now, let me ask you a question. I take your products, right? I've been taking them for years myself. I take a thing called Tangy Tangerine. Does that have all those? Is that the product that you actually put together? Is that the one?
Yes, that's a product we put it together. It has 88 of the 90 essential nutrients. You can't put the essential fatty acids in there because it'll turn into soap and turn into like hard like soap. Okay. And so we have to keep them separate. But the Tangy Tangerine has 88 of the 90 essential nutrients, but some of them are a little bit low because you can't add enough to meet our requirements in there. Otherwise, you can't get it in solution or suspension when you mix the powder with the liquids.
Okay.
And so that's why we have 3 products in our basic Healthy Start Pack. We call it the Healthy Start Pack. This is what people need to be on to prevent as many as 900 different diseases. Okay. Now, if you have a disease like type 2 diabetes, you do not want to go to a doctor if you're urinating a lot and hungry and you're losing weight. Those are symptoms of diabetes. What you want to do is go to the pharmacy without a prescription, get the test strips that they use to monitor their blood sugar when they have diabetes, check your blood sugar. And if it's below 100, you don't have diabetes. But if it's, say, 160, 180, 200, you have diabetes. Don't run to the doctor because he will give you a prescription, he'll bill the insurance company, and suddenly now your insurance premiums every month will be tripled and doubled. And you'll also... your deductibles will go from $600 to $6,000. What you do is you come to me and you get them what we call the Healthy Blood Sugar Pack, which has the things that are missing to cause type 2 diabetes, which is not a genetic disease, simple nutritional deficiency. We've known it for 82 years.
Now in your book, you talk about it as a chromium and vanadium deficiency. Is that correct? Which I'd never heard this.
Well, this is one of those problems where when people for instance, you say, okay, you have scurvy, take vitamin C.
Right,
You
right.
take vitamin C, and you might get rid of most of your symptoms of scurvy. But in the case of type 2 diabetes and arthritis and high blood pressure and heart disease and kidney failure and liver cirrhosis, these tissues, to repair themselves and to do all the physiological things they need to do to keep you healthy and keep you running every day, they need 90 essential nutrients. And so if you just give one, it's kind of like people say, oh, yeah, I take an iodine supplement, but I still have to take a prescription hormones because the iodine supplement wasn't working for me. Well, there's two possibilities. Number one, you're missing 14 other nutrients or 25 other nutrients.
Okay.
The thyroid gland requires 90 nutrients to work. Now, the reason why doctors thought iodine was so important for thyroid pump is a part of the structure of the hormone thyroxine. So that's the only mineral they're interested in. But you need the other 59 to make the thyroid gland work to make the hormone.
Gotcha. So it's like
And
building
so
a
if you
house.
want optimal benefit,
No plumbing or anything.
no mortar. Exactly. No mortar.
Right.
No wood frame and no nails. Exactly. So you need more than just chromium and vanadium if you want to solve the problem. You got to get on a gluten-free diet so you can absorb all the nutrients. And then you take the 90 essential nutrients. They have what we call the healthy blood sugar pack for diabetes. We have the healthy weight loss program. That's another big one. Weight loss is very easy. It's actually weight gain and obesity is due to a deficiency of a single nutrient. And it has nothing to do with lack of exercise or eating too much.
What is that?
So we take people, well, I can't tell you. It's in the book, Hell's Kitchen, though. You can read it.
Okay, fair
There's
enough.
actually three of them. If you're deficient in any one of those three, you will actually begin to gain weight. And if you're deficient in any one of those three, you can be a 300 pound, 600 pound, 800 pound person. And I get the ones that are, 5'2" and they're 588 pounds and they're 5'6" and they weigh 620 pounds and so forth.
Right.
And within a week of our supplement program and changing their diet, they'll start losing a half a pound to 2 pounds a day. So they'll lose 120 pounds in 60 days.
Oh, wow.
I get people who go from 588 pounds or 5'3" down to 200 pounds in 2 years. It's a little bit slow for me. I like it to go quicker, but that's very healthy because they're getting the other 90 essential nutrients.
Unbelievable, Doc. I've read and I've listened to you speak even on Alzheimer's, which people think that there's pretty much no way to reverse that. But I mean, I know you've spoken a little bit about just.
Alzheimer's disease, easy to prevent, easy to reverse. There's 5 major dementias. Doctors will call all of them Alzheimer's disease because the insurance code book pays them the most for treating Alzheimer's disease out of all 5. So no matter which one, you can have all 5. But no matter which one or which one or ones you have, they're always going to diagnose it as Alzheimer's disease because insurance pays them the most for Alzheimer's disease.
Right.
Well, Alzheimer's disease is a deficiency of a single nutrient. Humans were driven to be deficient in that nutrient by medical advice saying, stay away from this nutrient. Okay, and they should be put in jail for that.
Wow.
Alzheimer's disease is a physician-caused disease. It did not exist even by another name 48 years ago.
Oh my God. What about that? What about arthritis? What about just osteoarthritis or rheumatoid arthritis?
Well, osteoarthritis is very, very common. And again, it's due to actually, it's more complex than Alzheimer's disease because it's due to multiple group deficiencies. In other words, it requires certain vitamins, amino acids, fatty acids, and minerals to prevent and reverse arthritis, to support the body's ability to support and promote maintenance repair. I deal with professional athletes, Olympic athletes, university athletes. I deal with special forces guys and Navy SEALs who have impact injuries and terrible rotator cuff stuff in the sports industry, basketball players, Olympic basketball players, kind of thing. And so we can rebuild all these joints by giving the body the raw materials. The body has the capacity to rebuild everything. We actually have what we call a secret sauce to encourage stem cells to go to work, get out of hibernation, and rebuild all these tissues in the joints, the cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between the vertebrae, bone makes bone itself. But even stem cells require nutrients to do that.
So really, we're going back to the basics. So really, somebody that was born that was actually given all of these nutrients and actually what you're saying, they would really have none of these diseases for the most part, or they would have.
Well, like myself as an example, and I actually have hundreds of people who've been with me for 20, 30 years, and they've been taking the 90 essential nutrients for 20 and 30 years. Women, for instance, from their 70s and 80s have been with me for that long, and they haven't ever had any pap smears or mammograms. They've never had a cold in the 30 years. They've never been sick. They've never had any surgeries or prescription drugs or anything. So I have a whole sort of covey, if you will, of people, both men and women, who have done this for 20 to 30 years, and they get the same results I get. And so I'm going to add about 3 more chapters to that book that's in the Smithsonian Institute. We're going to republish it. They're selling for $25,000 each in those books now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we got to republish it.
If you don't need insurance, if you're healthy for your life, it's well worth it, right? I mean, 25,000 is nothing, actually. And look at all the people that you help. Now, if I were to say to you, so your company is Longevity, right? That's where
That's correct.
Taken knowledge. And
I'm the founder of the company, and we're publicly traded now. We've been publicly traded since June. We're on the big boards. We're on the NASDAQ.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And we're very excited about that. And just when we were doing the small caps, or on the ticker tapes and the pink sheets and the bulletin boards and that kind of stuff, our stock was running 28 to 32 cents per share. Friday, we closed at $5.50 or 60 cents or something like that, much higher than 32 cents.
Wow!
So we're very proud of that.
Well done. Well done. Well, I tell you, Dr. Wallach, this is such an honor. Let me ask you, if you were to say, like, my daughter is 9 years old. I'm 54 years old. Right? For her to live a healthy life, for myself to live a healthy life, which of the products from Longevity would you say we should be taking on a daily basis to actually?
Okay, if you do not have a health problem, you're just sort of basically running along, no diagnosed diseases, no symptoms of pain or anything like that. No diarrhea, no constipation, no skin problems. You might not go to a doctor for, like eczema or something like that. No problems whatsoever. I'd go on a One Healthy Start Pack. It's our basic program, One Healthy Start Pack. It actually has 248 nutrients in it, but it does include the 90 essential nutrients. It's already included in there. The Healthy Start Pack is 1 per 100 pounds of body weight. If your daughter's 9 years old, what does she weigh?
She weighs 72 pounds, I think.
72 pounds. Okay, well, I would supplement her as a 100-pounder, and you give her a half a dose at breakfast and a half a dose at dinner time. So that One Healthy Start Pack will last a month. And when she gets up to 150 pounds, then I'd give her 2 Healthy Start Packs a month. What do you weigh?
I weigh about 158 pounds.
158?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I'd go with 2 Healthy Start Packs per month, a full dose everything at breakfast, full dose everything at dinner time. And of course, it's incumbent upon both you and your daughter and your spouse in the household, and the dog and the cat and the bird and the fish, to avoid the bad stuff, the inflammatory things. And we're talking about fried foods, processed meats with nitrates and nitrites, like deli slices and sandwich meats, those kind of things. Absolutely no oils, because they oxidize and turn into trans fats, heterocyclamines, and acrylamides. What do I cook with? Well, you can cook with butter and water. No frying, remember.
Okay.
And then no gluten to maximize absorption. No gluten, no wheat, butter, or oats, because they cause what's called contact enteritis, actually kind of a damage to the lining of the intestines. Your intestines, if you're gluten intolerant, which 98% of Americans are, when you're gluten intolerant, gluten will cause your intestines to look like you've been eating poison ivy for salad.
Now, is this
really rough?
Is this something new, Doc? That years ago that people didn't have that, or is that always?
No, it's always been that way.
Oh, it is. Okay.
90% of what used to be called leprosy was actually a gluten problem. Only 10% of leprosy is caused by the infection with tuberculosis bacteria. 90% of leprosy is caused by a gluten problem. So they get plaque psoriasis on their skin, and they look like they have leprosy, but it's plaque psoriasis. And so we decoded all the Egyptian hieroglyphics on these diseases, back thousands of years ago.
Unbelievable. Doc, let me ask you a question. As a physician, if I wanted to get trained, or how could physicians become trained in this so that they can actually become more adept at this?
Okay, well, I get 10,000 patients a month. I really need some help, so I would just love it if some physicians would sort of go swim against the tide here, and not go against in an aggressive way or mean-spirited way, but go against the dogma of false theories. Okay, right. And join me. They join me. They can become an associate. And that's how I began to do it my way, because I needed to leverage my time. Seeing 35 to 50 patients a day wasn't going to make an impact on the world.
Right.
And so now I see over 1 million patients a day through my system, and they all use my beginning program. If they come to me with diabetes, they take the healthy blood sugar pack. If they come to me with arthritis, they get the healthy bone and joint pack. If they come to me with any of the diseases of the brain and heart and liver, they take the healthy brain and heart pack. If they need to lose weight, they take the healthy weight loss pack, and so on. I have like 900 different packages, if you will, for all these diseases. And so if they use my system and sign up as an associate with me, and there's rules of the road, right? Everybody's doing the same thing.
Right.
Then we will train them for nothing. We'll train them for nothing. I mean, that's a pretty good deal. I've been doing this commercially for 40 years.
Wow. Amazing.
We do already have the textbooks. I have 14 best-selling books. And so they can use the books. We have CDs and DVDs. My one CD, Dead Doctors and Lies in 9 languages. And when it was an audio cassette tape, over 3 years, it sold. Before social media, we sold 158 million of them. When it became a CD with social media, we sold something like just short of 600 million copies. And you have to appreciate that Michael Jackson sold his best one, Thriller, only 72 million. So I did 7 or 8 times what Michael Jackson did.
Amazing. It's such an honor to have you on. You know, as we go towards the end of our interview, I usually ask the guests what they think the holy grail of health is. I know we've sort of covered a lot of things, but if I were to pose a question to you, like if you were to say what the holy grail of health is, what would you say, sir?
There's 2 things we have to do to achieve the holy grail of health and optimal longevity and maximize your genetic potential for everything, right? Number 1, you have to avoid the bad stuff, okay, which is difficult for the average person because they're being advertised to by the bad stuff sellers, right? But it's all in the books.
Sure.
Epigenetics, Hell's Kitchen, the one you're reading. And so they need to avoid the bad stuff. The short version is no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no gluten. You avoid all those things, you're going to add 50 years to your life. Then you have to supplement with all 90 because you can't assume that these nutrients are in your food because plants only need 3 elements out of the soil. We need 60. Let's see here. Brazil nut trees do not require selenium, so you can't guarantee that eating 2 Brazil nuts a day is going to give you enough selenium because they don't require it. Same way with calcium in broccoli. Broccoli does not require calcium, and so eating more broccoli is no guarantee you're going to get calcium.
Wow.
And so you must supplement. And anything you get from your food, any nutrients you get from your food is value added. You can't depend on it as your sole source of nutrients. Ask Steve Jobs how eating well did for him.
Yeah.
Ask Iwata from Nintendo how, and Steve Jobs died at 56, Iwata died at 55. We have trillionaire sons with a T, trillionaire sons of kings in the Middle East who die while they're running marathons at 33 from cardiomyopathy heart attack. I've actually done 1,700 autopsies on kids under the age of 10 that died of that one. It's a sudden heart death of athletes. That's published in 3 languages. So nobody can deny that. If people say, well, like you couldn't have done that many hours. Really? Okay, well, it's published with all the pictures and all the data and the university that I worked with and everything. So these things are well known. And here's a trillionaire kid of a king in the Middle East who dies at age 33 from a deficiency of a single nutrient because they didn't supplement. They just ate well.
Wow. I mean, this is, I got to tell you, I interview a lot of guests, and what you're saying is not well known. It really is not well known.
Well, I appreciate you getting the message out.
No, it's such an honor to have you on. I mean, like I said, I started this podcast with the idea of getting 3 people on. You, G. Edward Griffin, and Andrew Wakefield, and I've just accomplished you were the final one. So this has really been such an honor.
Well, I'm honored. Thank you so much.
No, Dr. Well, how would people get in touch with you? They want more information. How would they do so?
Okay, they can go to let's see here. I would say the best thing to do is for the books, they want to go to drjwallach.com to get the books and CDs and DVDs, drjwallach.com. And then to get a hold of me, they could go to, let's see here. I would go to, let's see here. 619-420-2345. 619, 619-420-2345.
And this would even physicians that want to get in touch with you to actually.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, we're looking for health professionals. We get a lot of pharmacists come to us who want to be involved, and they seem to be all the health professionals are the ones that see the difference between the drugs. When it comes to pharmaceuticals, prescription pharmaceuticals, the only single class of prescription pharmaceuticals that cure anything are antibiotics. They can cure bacterial diseases like syphilis and Lyme disease, and they can cure bacterial pneumonia and bacterial meningitis and so forth, salmonella. But all the other pharmaceuticals that are prescription are only designed to treat symptoms.
Gotcha. Unbelievable. And the pharmacists easily recognize that. So they're the ones that are in line, so to see it. Well, Dr. Joe Wallach, I want to thank you so much for being with us, sir. It was awesome. I really appreciate it.
Well, God bless you for your good work. Thank you for helping me get the message out. We love you and we appreciate you. God bless.
Bye-bye. Have a great day, sir. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
This episode is sponsored by New Jersey Foot and Ankle Center in Oredo, New Jersey. Remember, when you have a foot problem, you've got a foot doctor in the family. Weekend and evening appointments are available. Call us at 201-261-9445. Once again, that's 201-261-9445. Thanks for listening. Check out the show notes over at drdanspeaks.com. If you're loving the show, head over to iTunes and leave us a review, and we'll catch you next time.